fine. I'll hold mine.
Yes, you're welcome.
Test.
It's probably a bad one.
Yeah, it's just testing, see if it looks good.
Yeah.
Just waiting for the mic to turn on.
Did you turn it on? Or?
No, it's just gonna be recorded and uploaded later.
There you go.
Yeah, but I want y'all to hear me, like now.
All right. Both of them should be working.
They should be working, I think, because they need to hear my voice. I need to hear them, and just like panels, like if they ask a question, I have to repeat the question and I'll answer them.
Yeah. Probably have to repeat the question.
Yeah, so then people who are watching, they know when I'm answering. I didn't think of that. Yeah, it's very smart. Think about something other than this. What I want to demonstrate. And there we go. Our list of questions.
I guess while you wait for the projector, you can just start introducing yourselves in general.
Okay.
Clowns.
All right, well, good morning, everyone.
Hello.
This is Zeus Assassin from Equestrian Dreamers, and
I'm Xtrav.
we're both developers on the upcoming fan game known as My Little Investigations. We started development back in July of 2011. We're still going strong, and we're happy to be here to answer your questions, and hopefully once a projector gets set up, we can demonstrate the case. So, what exactly is My Little Investigations? Our primary goal is definitely to bring the My Little Pony universe and combine it with the Ace Attorney Investigations gameplay that's been made famous over the past 10 years, thanks to the hard work of Capcom and their developers. So we want to bring Equestria to you guys to experience a show-like experience outside of the official show before it airs this coming fall. And yeah, and the reason why we chose the Ace Attorney formula was because we felt that the show enhanced character-to-character interactions. Ace Attorney did so as well in their stories and arcs. So with that, we felt like there was a perfect mix, and this is why we chose the formula for our game. So for now, until I get something set up here, I'm going to go ahead and open the floor for questions. I have a list of questions here from the Equestrian Dreamers former, but you have any questions for me, we'll alternate, and we'll keep this panel going. So, yeah, ask us anything about the case in general, and yeah, go ahead.
What's the story and the thing?
All right, so the first story of My Little Investigations takes place in Ponyville. So Twilight Sparkle realized there's a gem theft in Ponyville. Rarity, one of her best friends, had the True Blue stolen from her, which is a very large sapphire, and it's up to Twilight to find out who this culprit is before a certain Caroline investigative team comes and ruins the whole thing up. So, a very simple premise for the first case. We have 4 cases planned that would vary in stories, and I can confirm now that we will also be varying locations around Equestria, so it just won't be Ponyville 4 times in a row. And yeah, that's basically our brief synopsis for the first case.
This might seem early, but are you guys considering this to be a freeware game, or do you have a price that you're shooting for?
Our game is meant to cost nothing, so we're not taking donations. We're not charging anyone for the game. It's going to be pure freeware.
And any cameos that we should expect?
There will be plenty. Be kind of hard not to divulge some spoilers, but I can tell you there will be plenty of Easter eggs in the game, both from the Ace Attorney series and the My Little Pony universe that fans will enjoy.
What locations are featured besides Ponyville and Canterlot?
It'll be kind of spoiler-rich to talk about that now, but once we're ready to reveal them, you will hear first from us. But I'm very confident that these locations will provide great settings for future cases.
What's your release date?
Our release date is still undetermined, but we will have news on that very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. You have to download an installer, and it installs directly to your PC or desktop, and then it'll just run executable, and you'll be able to play the game. Multi-platform as in Windows. Yes, it's fully supported on Mac, Linux, and Windows. All right, since I want to get you involved here, I do have a question from the forum for Xtrab. So, Def's Air wants to know, how long does it take you to manipulate the music composed by Trot Pilgrim to use in Milo Investigations?
Well, actually, I don't really touch the music. Trot is talented enough to do it all on his own, so I usually just, if need be, I'll convert a file and then just send it off.
All right. And his second question to you is, do you use an actual audio console, or do you use a computer program to manipulate the sounds and music?
I don't use an audio console currently, but all my work is done in FL Studio.
All right. Any more questions? Go ahead. Yes, the game is fully voice acted.
What engine do you use? I think you said it.
Kind of a funny story with that. When we first started the project back in 2011, it was initially compiled and run in C. Then we ported it to Java so we can support Mac users as well. But then Don Yu had a great idea, which is our other technical advisor for the team, besides Gabo X, who is the lead advisor and creative director. We decided to port the entire game to C++. And considering all the good things about it, like great audio support, great compressibility, and the syntax is easy for Gabo to sort through and sit and debug, it was a natural choice. We made the port back in summer last year, so 1 year ago. All right.
Will there be balloon popping?
That actually kind of segues to one of the questions I got from the forum, which is, will there be any mini games in Milo Investigations? There are no mini games that we haven't announced yet, besides our partner system and our confrontation system, but that's all part of the main gameplay. As far as mini games would go, like maybe balloon popping, whatever, like, to be honest, I don't see a need for that in the case, but there could be times in the case where, maybe some little forensics could be involved, or there could be some little mini game we can easily program into it. So yeah, it's definitely possible, but for now, there's no mini games in case one. Yes?
Would it be too careful spoilers to ask what voice talents you got for the game?
Certainly, I can list them off for you. The voice... No, it's a good question. Give some credit to the team, too, who worked hard on this project. So our lead VA for Twilight Sparkle is Princess Rill. She's done various projects throughout the fandom and is relatively well-known. Not as well as Rena-chan, but she has done a very remarkable job for this project, and she had to record hundreds and hundreds of lines this past year and a half. So, proud of her. Sweetie Belle and Love Kiku. Sweetie Belle and Rarity, I already said the voice actor, is played by Love Kiku. She's just starting out, but she had a fantastic voice for Rarity when we were recruiting, so she was a natural fit. Rainbow Dash and Scootaloo are voiced by Divine X Rose. She's also, well, another story behind that. She was actually supposed to come here for the con, but sadly things got in the way and she was unable to make this panel. So another talent that we hired. The Diamond Dogs are voiced by that Canadian dude who's also been sort of known in fandom to do some male voices. So he does Rover, which is the leader of the Diamond Dogs, and a couple of other small voices here and there you'll hear in the game. Hoodie Yellow Pony voices our other two Diamond Dogs, so Fido and Spot. Another remarkable job. I'm surprised we've managed to find one person who can do both the voices really, really well. And last but not least, we have... Oh, I have two more voice actors. Bree Faith. Bree Faith voices Pinkie Pie and Apple Bloom. And Fluttershy, she voices the mayor in the case. And I believe that is all of them. And if I did miss any, apologies, team. All right, then, meanwhile that's getting set up, I will answer some more questions. If you ever visited our forums, which is www.questiondreamers.com, there's a little section where fans can post their case ideas that we could perhaps use in the future, in case, once we start developing one, the case might be too far-fetched to handle. So Zerdis asked from the forums, when will we see our case ideas get used? And that is still to be determined. We have 4 pretty good cases that we're planning to release and develop, but I do have some good news. It has been hinted at in other interviews, but we are thinking about, there's in the works. We're planning on making a case creator for the fans. So all these great ideas you guys come up with, you don't have to wait for the official team to do it. As you're going to see in a bit, once this loads, there's going to be a section for official cases and then eventually fan cases. And then from there, you can go ahead and upload what you want and share your work with the rest of the world.
You might have to, if this is Windows 7, you might have to click to the desktop for it to come up in a little bit. Because I know Windows 7 does that. You go to the desktop and I'm sure also it'll probably come in green.
So, screen, hold on. Devices, second screen. I'm going to devices right now and trying to get the second screen up.
Alright, here it is. It's up, but it's in
Oh no.
green.
I think that's the cable, but I think that's.
Oh no. While they fix that, I'll answer one more question from the forum. Is it possible that we get to play as other ponies in certain parts of the story? Not for Case 1, but it's very likely you're going to see them in Case 2 and beyond. Who? Just wait and see. Will there be court sessions? It actually kind of goes against our main philosophy of the game, because when we were designing the stories and cases for Milo Investigations, the concept of a court didn't really make sense. And I know there's the fan work Turnabout Storm, and they're an excellent team that do great work on that series. But that's a crossover. This is taking the ideas and putting them into My Little Pony universe. And since it's kind of like a pseudo-utopia in a way, there's not really much crime to be had. Just evil forces that try to destroy everything every week or so. I don't know. But we just simply didn't feel that courts would make much sense in Equestria. Investigators, yes, because there has to be somebody, or some pony, that has to investigate these crimes as they happen. So that will be expanded a lot more in Case 2.
If you want, you can test the sound into the system. It might work.
Okay.
We can get the sound working.
All right, so if you can see that, let me see if I can get a magnifier going.
Okay, you connected the input?
Yeah, the input's in.
Ah, come on.
It's not here, it's here. Are you playing out already?
Yeah, I'm getting output. I'm not
Okay,
sound.
It's here. No, it's here. The thing is that.
There we go. So that's our selection music for now. So what you see here is our newly implemented options menu. So there's a scroll there in which you can adjust certain things. They're not functional right now, but this is how it's going to look like in the final game. Audio, you can change your background music, your SFX, and your voice. So if you want voices off, you just turn all that slider all the way down, and you can play traditionally like Ace Attorney. And in that sense, there'll also be interjections, so all the hold its and objections and all that stuff. We have our own version of that, and you'll see what those are. What those will be pretty soon. But for now, I'm just going to confirm that they're in. All right. And here's our case selection screen. So, like I was saying earlier, here's our official cases, and soon we'll have a tab for fan cases once we plan on releasing the case editor. So our first case is titled True Blue Scootaloo, and the synopsis is basically what I just said early on in the panel. And if you can't read that, it says, when Scootaloo gets accidentally accused of a big gem heist, It's up to newly minted Detective Twilight Sparkle to get to the bottom of the case. And here we are. So, bear with me that this is a rough alpha, so if you see some text inconsistencies or just some weird things pop up, it's still rough, but we are working on it. So here we are in one part of the gameplay. So this part of the gameplay is known as field gameplay. So like Ace Attorney Investigations, you can walk around and examine evidence over here.
Well, it doesn't take sharp eyes to read these are tire marks. And it doesn't take sharp wit to figure out that whoever was here probably was the cause of this broken window, too. Is there anything else here?
And sometimes you'll be able to examine them more closely. In this case, we have some white hair.
Is this hair?
And we have Pinkie Pie here, who's here to help us explain certain parts of the case.
It's hair. Do tell.
You're going to see that in a minute. And so we transition to our evidence combination system. So here we have our list of evidence. You can also switch to profiles. There's double rarity, I know. But we can combine these two pieces of evidence and form a logical conclusion.
We assume that this hair was from some animal, then it would naturally follow that the rider probably swerved here to avoid hitting it, explaining why that pony went towards the window. So, what animal was it?
All right, and with that pretty much concludes our field portion, but there's also character interactions. So not only you have to find evidence, but you also need to talk to witnesses. And here's our first witness, the victim herself, Rarity.
Rarity, I think we should start with what happened last night. Of course, darling. What would you like to know? Could you describe exactly what happened and what you saw? Well, I'm afraid there isn't much to tell. I was sleeping in my bedroom when suddenly I heard a shrill crash from downstairs. I went downstairs to investigate, but what did I find but my house overturned and ransacked? My prized chair gone, and my beloved Uncle Athens missing as well. Oh, Uncle, that was coming soon. Perhaps I should ask more specifically about what was stolen. And that was everything you had to speak about? No, nothing, I'm afraid. That sounded awfully suspicious. Maybe.
So we have another Pinkie Pie tutorial here. She's here to explain locked topics.
Thank you. What are... Actually, you know what? No.
But for those who don't like Pinkie Pie explain the game, there is a toggle, as you saw on the screen, that will be implemented in the full game. So she basically goes on to explain the rest of this scene. We'll move on to another scene, and I'll show you a bit of how the load state system works. Right. So here's the GUI. So we have 4 tabs at the bottom: save, load, evidence, and partner. I don't know if we'll get time to demonstrate the partner today, but there should be more footage on that coming up pretty soon. We have the option tab, so if you want to turn off the Pinkie Pie tutorials, because I know they can get quite long, you can go and turn that off. So right there. And then you can also save and load your case. So I have a couple of save states here. So this is a little bit further on in the case. So I've gathered a bit more evidence. I made some more conclusions. Now it's time to confront Rarity about it and move on to another scene. And just like with Ace Attorney, you can present pieces of evidence to Rarity. So this is a cape shred, and knowing that she's a fashionista in Ponyville, it makes sense to present it to her.
Of course. Apple Bloom came by this morning to have this little accident fixed up. She seemed to have ripped her cape during one of her usual excursions. I asked her why she didn't just get Sweetie Belle to fix it up, but she said that Sweetie Belle was very busy today and couldn't spare any time to do so. I really don't know what those things are up to, but on the other hand, perhaps it's better I don't know. I swear, sometimes I don't understand myself. Sweetie Belle absolutely ruins my gold silk, and now here I am, fixing the cakes they made with it. I'm an odd sort. Do you think I'm odd, Twilight?
Oh, well, I think you just have a big heart.
Don't remind me, Twilight. Sometimes it can be a bit tiresome.
So this belonged to Apple Bloom, and she had it fixed this morning.
And so we move on to another part of the case. So we're getting close to where the demo ended. So the music kicks in. We're running around Ponyville. And there's cutscenes in the game. And with that, we're back to the field gameplay. Now there's multiple areas because this place is so huge that you can explore. Towards the later half of the case, you're going to explore the south of Ponyville here. And then you can access the CMC clubhouse all the way here to the left. It's pretty empty now, but we've already written side dialogue for it. There's more ponies to talk to here. But for now, we just have Apple Bloom, who knows something about last night. And we'll see another feature of the game, which will be interrogations.
Hey, Apple Bloom. How's it going with the cutie mark crusaders? Done any, epic quests or crusading? On break? Since when do the cutie mark crusaders take breaks? Why is she avoiding my questions? Something's not right here. Although, now that I think about it, there's one crusader I haven't heard anything about today. Say, Apple. Do you know where Blue's been?
Alright, so we're getting close to... I'm going to skip through this dialogue segment so we can get to the interrogation. So bear with me for a little bit. In the main game, there will be a fast forward feature, so you can just click through all this dialogue if you have to retrace your steps, and it'll help speed up going through this case. So here we are at the interrogation. Another tutorial. just on time.
What in the world are you doing?
I'm pressing you for information, Buster. Or at least that's what the book says. I'm not really quite sure how this is supposed to work here.
Another lesson from Professor Pinkie Pie?
Yes, already. This time we're talking about interrogations. Are you excited? Strawberry
Applebloom, I need to ask you about where you were around the time of the crime. Huh? No, I just needed to know. Procedure and all.
Credit for Trot Pilgrim for making that interrogation theme, and the rest of our MLI soundtrack. Alright, so as Pinkie Pie explained, there's two options, just like the Ace Attorney series, of how you go through each statement. So there's a list of 4 statements here. And the one that's most suspicious is this one. I certainly never went anywhere near the Carousel Boutique, no siree. So you can either press for info to find out more about the statement. And at what you just saw there, that was our version of the interjection. So our version of the hold it is just a minute. And you'll see our version of the objection as well. Alright, so you can't proceed until you figure out what's wrong with what she's saying. It's going to go in an endless loop. But luckily, I've gathered evidence that counters the statement. So she never went to the Carousel Boutique. We know it's a lie because we found her cape shred just on the bridge leading there. So let's present.
Oh, wait. Applebloom, I'm afraid to say that I don't think you're being honest with me here. Oh no, I'm not being guilt tripped this time. I found a scrap of your cape near the bridge to the Carousel Boutique. I know you were there, Applebloom. No, Applebloom. I'm afraid that one's not going to fly. Yeah, but your prized Cutie Mark Crusaders cape. Applebloom, come on. You can't tell me that you're going to get that fixed as soon as possible. It's okay, but please, I need you to tell me what you know. I can't help if I don't know as much as possible.
And with that, we unlock the topic and we can ask her about last night.
Alright, Applebloom.
However,
Please tell me.
there can be some situations where witnesses will be a little bit more stubborn beyond log topics, and even after interrogations. So here we're going to present what are known as evidence prompts in the dialogue script. So we need to figure out why she refuses to talk to us, and obviously, since we heard from Rarity that she may have seen Scootaloo, she wants to protect her.
Trying to protect Scootaloo, aren't you? I haven't heard from her all day, and Rarity said some things about you three that seemed awfully suspicious.
Yeah, you are right.
Applebloom, listen to me. I know your heart is in the right place, but this isn't the right way to protect Scootaloo. There's an investigative team coming in from Canada to handle this case. It's very, very important that I have this case closed before they get here.
Alright, so I'm going to move along with this statement here until she gets to talking about last night. So apparently they were rehearsing a comedy routine last night. Alright, we're going to go through another interrogation, but there's a new feature that was not presented before that we will discuss when we get there. So now that we talked with Apple Bloom, it's time that we face Rarity and see what she really saw that night. So I'm just going to go straight to the interrogation. So now we unlock the topic, and she still refuses to talk, but we'll find out why as we interrogate her.
Alright. Of course, Tyler. I shall do my best. I finished my investigation earlier than expected. So I won't miss out too. I will send
So just like with Apple Bloom, she has a pretty obvious statement that doesn't make much sense, which is towards the end. So she claims that Scootaloo could have been the only one who broke the window into the boutique, but we have some evidence that suggested that it was all an accident, which is the white hair we just found.
Oh, dear, tell darling. Oh, I know that I must. Then I can't see how this works. I found some white hair right through the tracks outside the window. And judging from the light and color, I don't think there's anyone else who could come up and over. As a result, I think we can reasonably conclude that those patterns are existing. And it's entirely likely to pass through your window completely by accident, not
So here we have to figure out a theory of what's relevant that night. So obviously we have 2 wrong answers and 1 correct answer. So what happens if we get a wrong answer? Yeah, there's some audio issues here, but luckily, unlike the Ace Attorney games, you won't get penalized for out-of-confrontation wrong answers. The reason we did that is we wanted to avoid needless backtracking. So you just get another shot, which is, do you lock your door at night?
Why, yes, of course I do. But I don't see what it has to do with anything. What? Of course! The poor dear, I couldn't even bed herself at night. Then I think we've established. Charlotte, I must ask her if you were to write as a... Alright, let's think about the facts and place thus far. You know that your crash is way downstairs. So, quickly returning to the key. You can reasonably conclude that she probably was responsible for the however, we also know that your window was like an accident. And that she expected to But she could have got in and screwed open the door, could she not? That's not possible. Think about it.
Yeah, Invisible Twilight.
I trust you're beginning to see my point. If indeed the door had been locked and had remained that way until Scootaloo left, there would have been no way of holding him outside the necklace. But that would be that somebody else was in my boutique as well? Exactly. I think we can reasonably conclude at this point there at least is a possibility that someone else had entered the boutique before Scootaloo. And that's their responsibility that ultimately day. The question now then is who that would be. And that's just what I'm going to find out.
So normally this is where the demo ends, but this scene is actually a bit extended, as you'll see here.
Good luck with that. Are you still doubting me after all this, Mary? Well, it's just hard to see you as a detective. Tell me, who was right out Nightmare Moon? You, darling. But, and who solved the mystery of the You again, but I really... And who
recognize that Princess Cadence had been replaced by a fake?
Once again, you, but you see,
So, why does nobody ever listen to me?
well, I suppose it's that eventually you must be due for getting something wrong.
I could explain the many reasons that argument doesn't hold me.
Adding emotions will be on our next thing on our to-do list. So Twilight won't be that neutral when she's talking about this scene. All right, we'll end this scene and we'll move on to another part of the case.
Now,
So our next lead is Scootaloo, since she's the most suspicious so far. And we have a game crash. Oh no. Oh well. So I guess that will conclude my demonstration for Milo Investigations. So I will open the floor back up for more questions. Actually, that reminds me, before I do, one thing I did want to get to today, which I didn't have a chance to, is the partner system. So in Milo Investigations, the whole theme of the show is about friendship, right? So your partners are going to be a valuable asset in this case and beyond. So your partners are going to have two abilities that will help you proceed through a case. The first is known as a passive ability, and that will help get through a stubborn witness that simply trusts you. No amount of evidence will change that. So the partner will help you there. Or it can be an active ability, as we demonstrated in a video way back in October of 2011. Rarity has the ability to detect hidden pieces of evidence at crime scenes. So let's say it could be like a broken piece of glass that's misplaced. Twilight can normally see it, but with her spell, she can see it. And there will be other partners down the line that can help during interrogations and confrontations too. So that's our partner system, and another system that's original and new, well, sort of new for Milo Investigations is the confrontation system. And that's basically an extended portion of interrogations. This is where you can get game overs. This is where you have a health system, and too many wrong answers will put you back in the beginning. And that's where the most drama is going to happen in the case. You'll find out key details during those sections of the game. And those are basically two things I hope you're looking forward to in future panels and future demonstrations. So now I will open the floor back up for more questions. Yes.
For the partner system, is there a way to easily tell which partner you need, or would you be bringing each partner through the area?
You can only have one partner at a time, but there will be in-game hints that would help direct the player. Like, for example, this witness is way too timid and is too scared to talk to Twilight. And let's say Fluttershy is a partner. She has the ability to help calm, the element of kindness, calm ponies down to talk to them. So things like that will be included in the partner system. And you can swap partners throughout. So that'll be a feature, not in case 1, but in case 2 and beyond, you'll be able to swap partners and solve different puzzles that way. Anyone else? Let me exit out of this. I do have a couple more forum questions if there are no more questions from the audience. Yes.
How excited are you for 3.5?
I am very excited. It's probably one of the few reasons why I'm getting a 3DS. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Loving everything about that game so far.
Which game again?
Dual Destinies. So Phoenix Wright Dual Destinies. So, feel free to ask questions. It can be sort of personal, sort of not about the game. So, X-Trap, here we have time. So, any other questions come to mind? Yeah.
Favorite pony?
After 3 seasons, it's still Twilight Sparkle. Although Rainbow Dash has been getting quite close, but it hasn't surpassed Twilight yet.
I'd have to go with Luna. Princess Luna, yes.
Always. All right, then I guess I'll read another forum question. So, again, from Simon Lee 2575. We've been asked about if there's going to be multiple endings depending on our actions. Not really, but during confrontations, there are going to be game overs. So there'll be different scenes depending on what part of the confrontation you fail in. And they'll lead to, just different bad endings. But other than that, as for canonical good endings or different witnesses you have to press depending on how you progress, not really. The Ace Attorney series always has been pretty linear with its style, because if you can explore everywhere at once, you're going to kind of ruin the suspense of like who the culprit is or who's a key witness or a key piece of evidence. So it's going to be fairly linear. But I've written the game over scenes, and they seem pretty interesting to me. So those will be our versions of multiple endings to the game as we know it. Oh yes, this is a kind of a big question. We've been asked by Lost Sanity that if you receive a cease and desist from Hasbro, will we shut down production of the game or will we ignore it and continue production? Well, the thing is, it's a legal act. We have to comply. And unfortunately, if that were to happen, we would have to shut production down because we don't want to get ourselves in trouble. We don't want to get we don't want to tarnish the Brony Venom's name. So we would have to comply at that point. But we're doing our best to keep going forward and keeping this case alive. So, yeah, keep that in your mind. I'm sure we'll be fine. Yes?
I got here late. I'm not sure if you already answered this. One of the problems I always had with the Ace Attorney series was there would seemingly be multiple ways to a solution.
Mm-hmm.
Like the big example I can think of is in the second game. The first case, the guy's neck is broken, and there were things written on the ground, right?
Yeah.
I tried, game over like 4 times, saying, no, if his neck is broken, he'd be paralyzed and couldn't write the name. But no, it turns out the name was wrong, so the hint I was supposed to go for.
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing anything to like try and avoid that sort of problem in this game, like possibly having multiple paths to a correct solution, or is it the same relatively linear structure?
During a confrontation, yes, there can be multiple pieces of evidence that can prove to be the correct solution to a question, and multiple statements that can be weak or can be exposed. So yes, we're trying to alleviate that problem because we know how annoying it was. But also remember, since I have played the series like over and over again, there has been some cases where you can present multiple pieces of evidence and still get the correct solution. I think it was like in case 3 of Justice for All, if you present like either like a box or pepper, you can prove like the location of the murder spot or something like that. So we're trying to make that more often and keep the options open to the player. But in terms of general story flow, yes, it's still going to remain linear. Confrontations, though, I forgot to mention this about confrontations. Confrontations, there will be times where you can go between 1 or 2 topics, sometimes 3 topics. And there may be a case where you have to go into one topic, get a piece of evidence there, attack another topic, and take both topics out at the same time. So that's one of the key things we want to highlight of that system. And sad I wasn't able to show it to you today, but you should be looking forward to more footage pretty soon. Yes?
Are there any background noise that appear in the game?
Yes. They'll appear.
As background characters or as characters?
What was that again?
Will the background ponies be just background ponies, or will they have dialogue or anything?
The only background ponies that will have dialogue will be our OC contest winners because they won the contest. They've won the right to a joke and a scene. But yes, background ponies they'll mostly just make a cameo. But yeah, there'll be a lot of Easter eggs involving some of them. So, like I said, Town Square will be filled up with more than just Apple Bloom. There'll be things to click on, ponies to talk to, and it'll feel a lot more livelier. And with that, I'm afraid I'm out of time. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you all coming here.
We're setting up for the next panel right now. What's John Smith? John Smith, yes.